Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. Holiday Inn, released in 1942 and is directed by Mark Sandrich, who's directed such films like Top Hat, Shall We Dance, and Man About Town. And this film stars Bing Crosby, Fred Astaire, and Marjorie Reynolds. Jim Hardy, played by Bing Crosby, and Ted Hanover, played by Fred Astaire, have a popular New York City musical act. But one year on Christmas Eve, Jim decides to retire from the musical act in order to fulfill his dream of opening up his own inn. But this inn is going to be very unique in that it's going to be called the Holiday Inn because it's only going to be open on holidays. And while he is attempting to open up the inn, he meets Linda Mason, played by Marjorie Reynolds, who he falls in love with and who helps him open up the inn. This is one of those movies that whenever you're in a grocery store around the holiday season, you see all of the holiday movies and holiday CDs, the generic ones, are put out in their own little special section. This movie is typically in that section. I had never seen it before this. I finally caved last year and picked this one up, and watching it for this channel, for this review, this one's not going to be part of my Christmas viewing tradition because it's just not that good. If you're going to watch this movie, you have to go into it remembering that this was 1942, so we didn't have a lot of elaborate plots or elaborate films out there around this time, for the most part. I'm sure there are going to be some major cinephiles that come at me after that comment, but I don't care. This was wartime. People wanted to go to the theater to escape, to not worry about their everyday troubles. So you get a lot of these films that are that fluffy musical, where they take big stage talents like Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, they put them into a film, and it's just delightful to watch them. And when we get to the dance scenes and the singing scenes, this film is delightful for the most part. But when I teach theater, I tell my students that musicals are the best, that they are the greatest when the music and when the dancing is incorporated into the story, and whatever the actors are going through in that scene at that time, whatever they're feeling, they can't say anymore through words, that they have to emote through singing, or they have to emote through dancing. The songs and dance breaks are not just put into the movie because, hey, it's a musical movie, we have to have this. No, how do the songs, how do the dancing affect and influence the story? This movie is not that. These songs, these dances are here purely for entertainment because our characters, our plot, are very surface level. To give you an example of what I mean, the movie begins with Jim, Ted, and then their assistant Lila, and they have this big musical act that's very popular, they're making a ton of money, but Jim, he's not satisfied. He wants to go, he wants to retire, he wants to open up his own hotel, and supposedly he's in a relationship with Lila during this. But Ted is going behind Jim's back, falling in love with Lila, and convincing her to, hey, don't retire with him, stay in the show with me. And of course, the mindset with women in Hollywood back in those days was that, oh yes, they're so weak-minded, absolutely, I'll do whatever you say, man. So when Jim comes back into the dressing room, Lila comes up to him and says, yeah, I'm not going to be going with you on your retirement plan because, well, you see now, I'm in love with Ted. Because I was in love with you, but you see, Ted explained it to me, you see? So now I'm in love with him. And I am not joking. Those are the actual words being said in the film. I was in love with you, but Ted explained it, you see? So now I'm in love with him. And instead of doing what anyone in that position would do if you were in Jim's shoes, he'd probably punch Ted out, right? Or at least attempt to. No, he just stands there going, oh, okay. Well, good for you, Ted. I'm gonna go retire. That's like the best mutual breakup ever. And Ted and Jim are still friends after this. Oh, God, that's great. Jim will come visit Ted at his musical review every once in a while, and he'll come out to the end every once in a while. Oh, God, I love it. Old Hollywood. God, you can't beat it. Oh, to know what the writer was thinking when he wrote that scene. Yes, she's in love with him, but this other man is explaining that, well, she's in love with him, actually. Yeah, that makes sense. I know I'm focusing on that aspect a lot, but it's in the first, 5 or 10 minutes, and I couldn't get over it for the rest of the movie. And then when Bing Crosby meets this new girl and finally opens up his hotel, Ted, Fred Astaire, comes and visits a couple of times and starts dancing with his new girlfriend. And now Bing is worried that now she's gonna run off with him, and I'm gonna be left alone all over again. So he devises many schemes to keep them separate from each other through each holiday that the inn is opened up at. Are you so into insecure with your relationship with your new girlfriend that she can't go off and make a career for herself and be successful and not come back to you at the end of the day? See, that's where this thing called trust is applied in a relationship. Relationships need trust. If you don't have trust, the relationship will fail. I know I said that if you go into this movie, you have to keep your mindset in this was the 1940s. They're not as progressive as we are today and more accepting of women making livings for themselves. Or, hey, blackface? Yeah, that's bad. And yes, you heard me right. This movie has a blackface performance. For those of you that don't know, blackface it's an art form that's been around for over 100 years where a white man or a white performer gets out on stage, paints his face completely black, and leaves his mouth kind of comically white because he's portraying an African American. Typically through like slavery and things like that around this time. Yeah. I understand that it's an art form, and it was very popular around the beginning of the 1900s, but my god, I'm white, and I'm offended by it. I absolutely hate it. And this movie has a whole song and dance number with it, because you see, one of the holidays that we need to celebrate here is Abraham Lincoln's birthday. And it gets even worse, because it's not even just Bing Crosby out on stage singing a song. No, it's an entire orchestra, all in blackface. And what's even worse, he has an African-American maid who is also singing in the kitchen the Abraham Lincoln song. Oh my god! Thank God nowadays, whenever this movie is shown, that whole sequence is edited out. It holds no purpose to the story. This is mainly just a song. It's a nice look back at how racist we were as a country. Wow. And I know that there are some film purists out there that want the entire film as it was intended to be released and to be shown. But if a major cable network is wanting and willing to edit that part out, you have to think that there's something wrong with that scene. I was so shocked when I saw it. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting to see Bing Crosby in blackface. And there he was. Let's move on. This movie did give us one of the greatest songs in the history of music, White Christmas, which I always thought that song came around in the movie White Christmas. Wouldn't that make sense that White Christmas, in the movie White Christmas, that's where it would come from? But no, it actually came from Holiday Inn. It's the most produced song ever, and it's a really great song. If I'm giving this movie anything, it's that it created this song, and because that song is created, about 10 years later, we have a lovely holiday movie that's a part of my holiday viewing experience, White Christmas. Should have reviewed that one. This one is just terrible. As in the end, Holiday Inn, it's a musical review. If you want to see Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire tap dancing and singing on stage, then all the more power to you. But the more that I talk about this movie and its portrayal of women and the blackface, I'm not recommending this one at all. Sorry. I'm gonna give Holiday Inn half a Blu-ray. No! I was initially going to give it something higher, but talking it through here in this review, I just can't. Alright guys, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next, and the next one comes, it's not a recommendation. Guys, I got my third movie screener! Tricoast Worldwide. I don't know how they found me, but they have given me 3 screeners this year. This year has been a turning table for me. I'm being asked by a studio to review a movie. That's something I've always wanted! And this movie is a little film called The Boonies. I don't know what it's about. I'm just excited that it's a movie that I'm being asked to review by a studio. That's just so cool. So we'll check that one out next time. Hey, if any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, please leave your comment below this video or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout out on the channel. So guys, if you've seen Holiday Inn, what did you think about it? Am I being a little too harsh on the history of this movie and the scenes that they're portraying? Please comment below and let me know. And if you like what you saw here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button. It helps me out with growing this channel. And if you have friends, if you have family members that love hearing people talk about movies, gloat on movies, bash on movies, send them over my way, have them hit the subscribe button. And remember, if we hit 1,000 subscribers, I am willing to torture myself by recording myself watching Arachnophobia, which is something that I have, a movie that I haven't seen since I was a kid because it scared scared me to death. It's gonna be fun for you. Alright everyone, I will see you next time with my review of The Boonies. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.